Peace, love, and light. Welcome to Alchemy Soul, a space for honest conversations about transformation, spiritual awakening, and the messy process of becoming who you really are. I am your host, Marquita, and I am super grateful to have you all here with me today. You guys, this is the first time this has happened to me, but I started recording and I started probably about 3 or 4 times before I finally got here. And the last one, I was like, girl, why are you talking so fast? Because I'm not a fast talker. Like I I just don't talk fast. I don't think I do. If I listen back to, when I'm editing my content for YouTube and I'm listening back, I normally speed it up just a little bit because I'm like, oh girl, you are talking very slow. And so I love this because I don't have to talk fast. I can talk as slow and as fast and as calm or as soft or as loud as I want to talk, right? So the last one I was about 8 minutes in and I was like, girl, I felt tired. You know what I mean? Like I had to take a breath. And I was like, ooh, let me stop and let me start over. Let me recollect myself and let me, slow down and get in tune with what spirit wants me to communicate today. I woke up this morning and I had, just this energy of like, today is Wednesday. I'm super excited because I get to record my podcast episode today because I feel like I have a lot of things on my heart to share. And in my last episode, I really enjoyed that conversation. As I said, at that time, like I was in bed and it just felt very intimate to be talking to you all, while I was like curled up in bed about to go to sleep. And so that's not the case today, but I am just intentionally making sure that I just slow myself down because I'm not in a rush. And this is my, like, it's so much power in just saying like this is my shit, like this is mine, and I can create it and allow it to be exactly what I want it to be. And it's beauty in that, especially in the beginning stages. Like right now is the time where everything is being refined. And so I'm happy. I'm happy. I know I say this probably every single week, and I don't know when I'm going to stop saying it. I'll probably keep saying it. I don't really know, y'all, but I am so happy. I am so proud. I am genuinely just like, I love this. I love this. I love that I keep showing up for myself. I love that I keep showing up for the audience that I have now. I love that I keep showing up, more importantly because spirit has told me to. And that is, just the overarching message of today. Like consistency, yes, it is great for productivity, right? But consistency is a spiritual walk. That's what I'm learning. I'm learning that consistency is a spiritual walk. When I was inconsistent, right? When I've had moments of being inconsistent, I found that out that things in life just were not occurring as easily as I felt that they could. Like it's so funny. It's so funny. This transformation journey has been amazing to witness and to think back on it. Like, y'all, because it's funny and I can laugh right now about it because I wouldn't say I've always known, but I kind of knew probably since like 2018. circa 2018, I knew that speaking and writing and communication and teaching was my lane, like my passion and my purpose. And I think it's very interesting because I have not always been a speaker, but I've always been a writer. Ever since I was a kid, I've journaled, and I have, well, I've kind of I've tossed them now because I'm nomadic and I didn't want to keep, dragging around stuff with me. But ever since I was a kid, I've been journaling. I've had a journal. I had my very first diary, guys. Like I looked at the diary and I was like, wow, this takes me back. But I didn't want to go back. And so I decided, outside of just me being nomadic, but I decided that I can let that stuff go because I didn't really want to take myself back. Every time you take yourself back into a memory or back into, something that occurred in the past, you're just bringing it into the present. And so I just felt like it was unnecessary. So I decided to throw them all away. But I've always been a writer. I can write my behind off. I think I can write my behind off. I look back at some things that I have written, and I'm self-published. Shameless plug. Walking Your Power can be found on Amazon. My name is Marquita Coles, Coles. But yes, Walking Your Power. And I read that book whenever I read that book back, I'll be like, okay, like okay, you can write. You have some things to say, and I love that book specifically a lot because that was before AI, and so yeah, like every time I read something back, I'll be like, girl, you are really talented. And you have some wisdom. You have some wisdom in you. That's a lot, that's what I tell myself a lot. But if I just think back to me being a kid for a second, I've always written, but I've not always spoken. At some points, within my teenage years, I've dealt with sexual abuse in my teen years. Excuse me. And during that time, I think that is when my voice just wasn't developed. Like it was underdeveloped. Because I felt like the voice that I had, and I even remember when I first told someone that it occurred to me, I wrote it out in a letter. I wrote it out in a letter. But speaking it out loud and telling, family, things that occurred, it was received, but I don't know if it was taken very seriously. So I think that learning from that kind of put this idea in my mind that what I have to say isn't always going to be taken seriously. And I'm so happy to be healing through that presently. This speaking and me showing up, I'm about to start crying, y'all. I'm about to start crying. Whew. Yes, because me speaking and me showing up here every single week. And now, side note, shameless plug. I'm gonna plug myself. I am about to do a 365-day long form content on YouTube challenge. And I'm going to challenge myself to show up, rain, sleet, or snow, 365 days. You can find me on YouTube at Alchemy Soul with the 2 U's and Soul. I'm there too, speaking, teaching. But now I'm about to, go into this challenge, and I'm super happy for that. So not only am I staying consistent, with my YouTube, now I'm staying consistent here and showing up here every week with, whatever I need to speak about. And it is it's just a hug. It's just a hug to little Marquita to say your voice is valuable. Your voice, what you have to say, is received by the people who needs to receive it. And I'm proud of myself. I'm very proud of myself. I don't listen back to my content often, but when I do either read, my book back, or, right now, I know I keep going on different side notes, but side note, I thought that this year was going to be my year of being publishing, like my publishing year. So I wrote two books. I wrote two books already this year, and every time I read them back when I'm like editing and stuff like that, I'm like, girl, that's you. Like, that's you. That is your wisdom. Those are your teachings. And, I'm just really proud of myself. I listen back to some of my YouTube, and I'm like, girl, that was, you said that. Like, you, that's you. That's you. That's you speaking. And I don't do it often because I really do believe in like the power of just putting it out and letting it be. But when I do, because I'll get led to, I feel like whenever I do get led to read something or listen to something that I've already put out, it's a divine message that I need to remind myself of. That spirit is like, yo, remember that you said this, and this is what it is. And it always resonates with wherever I am at that time. So yeah. I said all that to say I don't even know where I was headed with that, but I am, just proud of myself for continuing to show up. Um, the little Marquita, she is just so happy because I've finally chosen us. I've chosen what we want to do, and it has been quite the road. It has been quite the journey. I think that I came more in tune with my voice in 2018. I still have a very, I was so young and I had little bitty locks. So funny. It's funny because I had tiny locks. And it was in 2018, and I sat down on the floor and I recorded my first video, and it was a longer form video at that time when you could do like longer form videos on Instagram. And my dog was sitting right there next to me, and I still have that video because that was my very first time of being like, yo, I got something to say. I got something to say. And whether it be for me just to get it out, or whether it be for me to get it out and somebody resonate with it, it don't matter. Like, this is healing. I am not only healing myself through this, but I'm living in purpose. And that's like the biggest thing, because um a lot of, just what keeps coming up for me right now in this time and space, this period of time, just this whole year really has just been purpose. Purpose, purpose, how to align with your purpose, how to walk in your purpose, how to just be in purpose. And I figured out that, oh, that's what I was about to say. I figured out that if I can stay consistent, right? When I stay consistent, I am in alignment with my purpose. If I keep showing up, I am in alignment with my purpose. We talk about purpose, right? We talk about finding our purpose. We talking about walking in our purpose. But I think that people really don't understand that your purpose is that burning desire that's down inside of you. For me, it is communication, period. But it's not only, it's not just communication, it's depth, right? Like it's transformation, it's healing communication. Because in the conversation, it don't matter who I'm talking to or what the conversation is about. It is never a surface level conversation. It's always going to be a word, a message, and anything that I converse with anybody about. And that's just who I am. And I finally have gotten to the point where I've accepted that part of myself, because for a long time, I did not, I wouldn't say I did not, but I just wasn't comfortable in my voice. In my voice. I just wasn't even comfortable in having conversation because I felt like nobody understood what I was saying. Or they thought that I was just trying to be deep, quote unquote, trying to be deep, and I'm actually, people have said this to me, and I'm just like, okay, well, I just won't say nothing at all. Because what I can't do is I can't stay surface level. Like I can't try to force myself into a surface level conversation. That's very inauthentic. And so this part of me, like I said, this part of me being consistent and showing up every week and now on YouTube every day is going to not only refine my voice, but it is just solidifying my purpose and my walk with spirit. My walk with spirit. So some things just about me. I'm into astrology, and I do believe that people can find out things about themselves through various astrology, numerology, or some other things, human design. Um, yeah, so there's some other things, I just can't think about it. So I've studied astrology heavy, and this was in 2024 when I first did a deep dive into my birth chart. And during that time, um I was going through so much, y'all. I was going through a lot. I mean, but I wasn't, in hindsight, I really wasn't going through that much. But it felt like it because there was a lot of instability financially. And what I was doing was I didn't have a place to stay, but what I did was I did house sitting, which allowed me to book clients, and I was getting paid to stay in other people's houses to take care of their house and to take care of their pets. And so it was actually kind of fun. So alongside that, I was also being more consistent in my speaking. And what happened during that time was I was speaking, I stayed really consistent. And then shortly after that consistency, then I got a big contract, y'all. And I was making money. Okay. Like I made money. Like I made a good, like really good cushion of money during this time. And guess what happened? I stopped speaking because now I got to work this, contract. I have to work this contract where, I'm having to work 12-hour shifts. And life happened, and I stopped being consistent with my speaking. And I just give that, I just think about that little period of time because I was consistent. I was refining my voice. I was finding my voice. I was confident. I wasn't always getting the confirmation and the validation, but I was living in my purpose. And then I got the reward, the quote unquote reward, right? But then I stopped. I stopped, and then I worked, made all of that money, and then I had a full year of cushion where I didn't work at all. That should have been my time to refine my voice and make it clearer, but I didn't. I did a little bit here and there, but I wasn't consistent. And what I'm finding for myself just here every week is that I'm just falling in love with myself. I'm falling in love with the process. I'm falling in love with the possibility of what it could become. I'm falling in love with spirit, right? My purpose. I'm falling deeper and deeper in love with my voice. Um, yeah, going back to my birth chart because I'm kind of hopping all over the place a little bit, and that's okay. That's okay. That's why I like I love this because that's okay. Because this is just me and you. We just having a conversation. Just me and you, okay? Nobody else. It's just me and you. And so going back to my birth chart. So in my birth chart, I did a deep dive and it helps me understand my purpose. It helped me understand how I can make money. It helped me understand the things that light me up and bring me joy. It helped me understand like the money wounds and the things that I would need to heal in order to be financially successful. And so just some little, I'm not gonna tell all my business. I'm not gonna tell all my business. I'm gonna try not to, but just some little things about myself. I am a Sagittarius rising, which means that Jupiter rules my chart. So already that brings in luck. That brings in expansion because that's the sign of Jupiter. Jupiter is the sign of luck and expansion, philosophy, and so on and so forth. Um, but not only that, like I have a stellium in the ninth house, which is the ninth house is Sagittarius ruled. I'm already a Sagittarius rising. Ninth house, travel, expansion, philosophy, teaching, what is it? Publishing. So, right. So we already got that as that being the house. Inside the house, I have Mercury, right? Communication. Mercury is our communication planet. I have Jupiter. I just said Jupiter is the luck, expansion, wealth, abundance planet. And I have Venus. So Venus is all about like beauty, all about love, and those three. My path and what I know for sure about just with those three things alone. My path and what I know for sure is that I am meant to speak, teach, and publish. But in combination with that, there has to be a travel component. There has to be a travel component. That is why I am nomadic. I have no desire or no ties to hold roots anywhere for a long period of time. I just don't have that desire within me. And I also don't, I would much rather, and it's so funny. I don't need a lot of money. But what I do need is I need my freedom, which that's Jupiter, right? And Jupiter is freedom. I need my freedom. I need my voice. I need to be able to have the option of coming here and speaking. I need to be able to have the option of having a way to speak. Guys, y'all know what I used to do. It's so interesting because it all ties in. Y'all know what I used to do when I would take trips to Chicago. You're talking about Atlanta to Chicago. That's about a 10 to 11-hour drive. Love the drive, love the drive. And it became an even more sacred, you know, trip every single time because I would be speaking down, speaking to spirit. I'm talking about speaking to spirit out loud, just how I'm talking to y'all right now. But I will be talking to spirit for a good portion of the time, like a good portion. And it was such, it always was like such a very deep conversation and connection. And that's how I know that traveling movement, right? The traveling ties in with the communication, right? And so if we take those two things and put them together, I don't know. We're going to see. Y'all already know that I'm planning to move. Y'all already know, if you listen to my last episode, I am planning my slow travel nomadic journey abroad here very soon, and I'm super excited. But and I don't know. I have visions that I'm going to be talking a lot more about the things that I'm learning as I'm traveling. I have visions that I'm going to be teaching that to other people in some capacity. I don't know. I don't know the details, right? But I do know that travel lights me up. It lights me up when I am traveling. I am a different person than when I'm at home. And this, what I'm doing right now, when I'm speaking, I just feel so alive. I feel so, it doesn't feel like work. And that is all I've ever wanted for my life. I would much rather not have a quote unquote stable 9 to 5 job. And I would much rather have a smaller amount of money in my bank account as long as it allows me the opportunity to speak, as long as allows me the opportunity to be free with my time. I would choose it every single time. But just based off some other placements that I've learned about myself, and the reason why I'm so another reason why I'm so like, let me just stay consistent and structured in this part of the journey is because my voice is my money maker. My voice is connected to my abundance. My voice is connected to my prosperity. I can be rich and I will be rich, but it is going to come with consistency and structure and me continuously showing up and using my voice for myself and for the collective. So that's just a little backstory and some things about me. But one thing that I just wanted to hammer in for you all is when you decide, you just make a choice and a decision that you are going to show up in your purpose consistently, and whether that be every day, or whether that be every week, or whether that be every month, make a decision for yourself that you're going to show up consistently in doing something that really sets your soul on fire. I mean, you can feel it. You can feel it. I feel like a lot of times people be like, I want to find my purpose. I don't think that finding your purpose is something that is lost. Like, your purpose isn't lost. What needs to occur is you need to find the audacity. That's the word I want to use. You need to find the audacity to do it. You need to find the straw, the final straw. What's going to be the last straw that is going to push you into your purpose and you being consistent in your purpose? What is that going to be? Because I had a last straw. I had a last straw. This last straw of me getting fired again after not even doing anything wrong. And that was my last straw. I'm like, Spirit, listen. I heard you. I've heard you, and I've heard you way too many times. But this time, oh, you was loud. You were loud. And that's how I felt. I'm like, no, 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 no. No. Okay, let me get on it. So it's gonna come to, it's gonna come a time in your life. If you're not already consistent in your purpose, it's going to come a time if you're here, right? Because I do believe that my message and the things that I'm speaking about is for a very specific group of people. And if you have been called to this message, if you are not already living in your purpose, right? It's going to be a last straw that comes that pushes you into you being more consistent in your purpose. And that might not come, as a result of any kind of quote unquote hardship. That might not come in the form of what happened to me where I've gotten fired multiple times. It might not come in that, but it's going to be something. And you'll know it when you feel it. I do feel like that if you're here, you kind of have an inkling about what your purpose should be. And if you don't know what your purpose should be, I definitely recommend 10 times out of 10 look at your birth chart, do a deep dive. What I did was I pulled my birth chart. I was already using this app called The Pattern before I did my deep dive. But I pulled I used my chart from The Pattern. And I started plugging the houses into YouTube. I started plugging the houses into YouTube. All right. What does first house in the Sagittarius rising? What does that mean? First house Sagittarius. What does that mean? And excuse me. And I just did that for each house. And I kept doing it. And I kept doing it. And I kept doing it until I had it like the back of my hand. Like I just kept doing research and kept looking at different videos and just different, ways of understanding it. And next thing you know, I just know it all like the back of my hand. I know myself. I know myself. If I could say I just know myself through the chart, I know myself through the chart. I think for me, the chart, I knew myself before the chart, but the chart for me just solidified, what I already knew. It's kind of like getting a reading, you know what I'm saying? For me, like most times when I go and get a reading, I'll be like, I already knew that. And I think that's the case for a lot of people, like, because they're just reading your energy. Like, and so with them reading your energy, there is something that you already know, like energetically. And so finding your purpose is not a thing. You already know what your purpose is. You just have to maybe understand how you can express it out into the universe. For me, communication being a part of my purpose, I don't know, it's always just been there. You know what I'm saying? It's always been there, but understanding that this is the thing that I am supposed to be doing, that is my lifestyle, if that makes sense. Like, this is my lifestyle. I am a very fit person. Fitness for me is a lifestyle. Like, I'm going to eat right. I'm going to work out. I'm going to take care of my mind, body, and spirit. Fitness, as a whole. It ain't even just about my physical health. It's about my holistic health. That is who I am. take that same, mindset and put it into communication. This is a part of who I am. And it's never going to go away. It's never going to go away. Even in the moments where I was not as consistent, I always came back to this because I knew, and I know that it makes me feel good. It makes me feel good. It's not a chore. Sometimes working out can be a chore now, some days, especially now that I've gotten a little bit older. Sometimes hitting the gym can feel like a chore, but I still do it. I still do it. And so far, and even with all of the videos I've created on YouTube, like so far, everything that I've put out, it has never felt like a chore. Like I've genuinely enjoyed coming to the mic and coming to my phone and setting up the video and recording and saying, this is who I am. This is what I have to say. Even in the videos where I am not having the perfect background, even in the videos where things are not perfectly articulated. It was something that was on my heart that I needed to say, and I got it out. And I love it. I love it, y'all. I love this so much. And it's not even about, it's not, it's not, it's not about me. It's not about me. Even though I'm about to start crying, y'all. I'm about to start crying. Even though I love doing this so much, the reason why I know this is purposeful, purpose-filled, and the reason why I know I have to stay consistent is because it's not about me. It's not about me, because I have tons of like voice memos in my phone of when I've just talked. Like I just said, every time I would get in the car and drive somewhere for a distance, I would just talk. This moment of me putting this out into the universe, it finally has clicked in my mind that it's not about me. It's not about me. And so when you are aligning with your purpose, it is going to be something that you genuinely enjoy doing. But it's also going to be something that you have a burning desire to do without having a reward, without having validation, without having financial backing, right? It is going to be something that you can do and can produce no matter if you have the perfect mic, no matter if you have the perfect background, no matter if you have money in your bank account. It don't matter. You're going to find a way to do it because you know that it makes you feel good. And at some point you'll realize that it's not even about you. You'll realize that it's not about you. And so y'all, this has been really good. Really, really, really good. Just take a deep breath on that one. It has been really good. If you all are interested in following my 365-day challenge on YouTube, where I am committed to showing up 365 days of, producing long form content. Now, let me be honest. I'm going to be honest. Some of that content is going to be it's going to be these podcast episodes. We just gonna be real. I'll be honest with you about that, because I'm slowly rolling out my podcast episodes on my YouTube anyway. And so at some point they'll be caught up and linked to the current episode that we're on, which is episode 9. But yeah, so I'm just be honest that some of these episodes will be on my YouTube as part of my 365-day long form content challenge. So if you're interested in checking me out over there, my hashtag, is it hashtag? What is the name? I don't know. My name over there is Alchemy Soul. That's Alchemy Soul, just like this podcast with 2 U's in the soul. Okay, it was amazing, amazing, amazing. Good chat, good chat. If you resonated with anything that I've said today, please be sure to comment and share. You know, if you feel like anybody else needs to hear this message, share with those that you feel it may resonate with. And peace. Have an amazing day, night, week, whatever it is, whenever you're watching or whenever you're listening. Peace, y'all.